What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about if the new Batman game will be shown at the PS5 reveal event this upcoming Thursday. Now, this is a video that I'm recording actually the same day I'm recording the PS5 predictions video. And I know that this is just going to be a question that I'm going to be asked a lot probably over the next coming day. And so I do want to address it in this video. Really quickly before I jump in, I want to promote that Discord server. So many of you guys have continued to join. We are really growing over there. It's a really amazing community. I truly am. I'm so happy with the growth that that community has made. All the people that are very active over there, and very welcoming to a very nice group of people. Very welcoming to anybody just joining. So if you guys haven't joined yet, the link for it will be in the description below if you guys want to sign up. So again, this is a video that I think was a long time coming, right? I actually had said, whenever PS5 does this event, whenever they announce that they're going to do an event talking about the PS5, talking about the games, that would be the time that we could finally make the official video talking about if Batman would be there. And I was expecting this, back in March, back in February, really before the whole world kind of collapsed on itself, right? So it's funny that now it's happening, in just a few days. Really exciting. And so again, what I do want to kind of say firstly is I made, like I said in the beginning of the video, I made a predictions video. That video went up Saturday morning. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I would advise you to check that out because I talked about a lot of what I think is going to be there. I'm going to repeat some of it here just to kind of basically paint the picture of what I think is going to be there and what will not be there, okay? Now, in regards to Batman, a lot of people are going to be interested, so I'll get to that first. I think there's a possibility. I think that possibility is insanely low. I'm you guys know me by now. I'm a never say never kind of guy, right? So I would never say that it's not going to be there, all right? But you got to look back at all the things and it's so important. And I do get it. I get the hype. I get the hopes. I mean, trust me, I really do understand it because every time I make a video, every time I talk about it, I get myself pumped up every single time, right? But again, we have to take into account the principles of what we've talked about in the past. One, this is Warner Bros. This is Warner Bros. Basically child. We know that this is their next big game, okay? The next big game that Warner Bros. Has coming from them exclusively, which we talked about also in that Batman video this past Saturday, right? The next game they have, which is not Cyberpunk, not Lego Star Wars, not Mortal Kombat Aftermath, is Batman. Also, they have Rocksteady, they have Harry Potter, they have all this stuff. They're part of Phase 1 of Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. They will do their own thing. I think that's very important to say. I really do. Now, I guess what you could say is, could there be teases? Could there be things basically promoting each other? I don't think it's impossible. I truly don't. In fact, if you want to make a case for this Batman game, that is probably the only case that you can make. Because again, here's what I think. At this PlayStation event, it's going to be very heavily first parties. Sony needs to show what exclusive games are coming to the PS5, not just in the fall, at launch, but also long term. Okay, you got to get people to buy it now, and you got to give people reason, not just to buy it now, but then to also say, okay, here's also what you can expect for years to come. Hence Spider-Man 2, hence God of War 2, hence surprises, a new Uncharted game, all this kind of stuff. That is why they have to do that, is you have to give people reasons to buy it day one, month one, and also the next several years. This is what you're going to get the next several years, okay? With that being said, third parties are very important. We saw Inside Xbox do the third party thing, which, okay, they weren't exactly gameplay. Okay, they weren't exactly the biggest games in the world. In fact, they were most of them were very small games. You know what? That again, we got ourselves hyped up. They definitely got us hyped up as well. They are very much to blame. Summer Games Fest is to blame. Inside Xbox is to blame, and we're to blame. We all thought that this was going to be something bigger than. And I actually did really enjoy what we got in the frame of what we got. That they were smaller games. I like to see. I get excited when I see any new game because I like to give really all new games a chance. But I think the Sony event, by the way, is going to be a lot bigger than that. And again, if you want to use that to our advantage, we could say, all right, well, Again, first parties are very important. I think they will tease, if not show, the PS5 system. I don't think they'll show the price, release date, pre-orders, anything like that. I think we'll probably see the DualSense again. We'll probably get more features, backwards compatibility, the smart delivery, their kind of version of it, right? Those are all things I think we'll get with the PS5. I do think third parties are important. You probably do want to show some third-party developers' games running on the PS5, right? Not just your own, because ultimately your own developers should do, I guess the situation depends for each one, but they generally should do a better job than third parties, okay? And that's because they only are working on your game. They're probably going to get they're only working on your system. They get the dev kits first. They are only focusing on making a PlayStation specific game. They don't have to worry about optimizing it for one and then versus optimizing it for Xbox, or God help them if they're doing it also for, not that I hate the Switch because I actually adore the Switch, but if you're making a Switch version, the Switch just isn't as powerful, so you have to keep that in mind as well. You know what I mean? So they should do a better job, but at the same time, you want to say, okay, well, here's what you can also expect from some third parties. What I think, so again, if we're living on cloud nine and we're trying to build our case for Batman, okay, there's two things that I think could happen. One very small one would be, remember the Microsoft when they did Inside Xbox, when they had the graphic, it was like a video, it was like a panning image, or actually they zoomed out and it had all those developers or publishers that were working on Xbox Series X games. Remember that? Warner Bros. Was on that list, okay? That is maybe one of the things, and I think in general that is like a company thing. Whenever companies do E3s, right, and they say, remember, PlayStation has done this before, where they say, hey, here's like a huge graphic of just developers that are making games for the console, right? They did that for the PS4. I'm sure they're going to do it for the PS5, and they'll just have loads of developers that you've seen before that okay, they're working on some sort of game, or they're porting it, or they're remaster, whatever they're doing, they're making a game for the PS5, okay? That is, I think, actually a slam dunk that we will see that at this event, because again, it's very important to show, for some reason, I think it's actually kind of obvious that we know that a lot of developers are working on it. I think, again, not to bag on them, but like Nintendo, they've made it kind of a thing where like you maybe do have to show it, because a lot of developers don't do it for the Switch. And remember, for the Switch, or for Nintendo in general, it was such a big deal whenever they would show, hey, here's all these developers that are making games for our system, because again, it's kind of limited. There's not as many that are doing it. So I think that's kind of snowballed, and it's just a thing that everybody does, even though you kind of know, like, all right, well, eventually the PS4 and Xbox One are going to die out, and you have to move on. So obviously, if a developer wants to stay in business and a publisher wants to stay in business, they have to make next-gen games. You know what I mean? But that graphic is just something that's kind of a formality in the gaming industry. I think we see it. I think either, if it's only publishers, then we would see Warner Bros. If it's developers, Warner Bros. Montreal should be on there, and I think that would be pretty exciting. It doesn't really mean all that much, because it's not telling us really anything we don't already know, but at least it's something, right? Now, again, for the actual game, to not get hopes up, I really don't see how it's going to happen. Again, they were planning on doing their own E3 event. They were going to announce Batman, Rocksteady, Harry Potter, probably the Monolith game, loads of other, Hitman 3, right? All these different games. They were planning a E3 convention style, conference style event, okay? And so I don't think they would just give Sony, give Microsoft, give Summer Games Fest a bone and say, okay, here you go, here's the thing, right? Here's our game. I don't think they would do that. Besides that, I know there's still the increasing push for, well, would they still do those teaser images? Look, I mean, they're still at the point where they're tweeting every so often. In fact, every Monday. In fact, probably today that you guys are watching this, right? They should have probably tweeted another job listing, I'm sure, because they do that every single Monday. They've been tweeting other things in the Warner Bros. World, right? They've talked about the Snyder Cut and stuff like that. So they are active. They are alive. They're definitely back, right? So that, again, that is a very positive sign. Does that result in eventual teaser images? I think it could. Again, I think we've talked about the different scenarios for that. But here we are now. Unless something happened this weekend, or unless something happens literally today, and happens every single day this week, actually, if it does happen, I probably would make a second Batman video today. I just don't see how it would happen. I think if it were to be at Sony's event Thursday, let's say, I think you have to have an insane lead up to it. I think we would hear about it either today, which again, there's no way of me knowing this because I'm recording this on Friday, or maybe over the weekend, or maybe on Friday. They would have had to give some sort of heads up. Okay, I really, really think they would have to do that. And again, at the same time, I just don't think they would give Sony something like that when it's that big. Now, yes, there are deals, and yes, they have had deals in the past with all of the various different publishers, but at the same time, they're doing their own thing. They want to do their own thing. But again, the final thing I'll say to wrap this up and to give to end this on hope is it possible that there's like a teaser from it and it kind of teases something to come? In a way, like a reverse Assassin's Creed. Remember, Assassin's Creed had the Photoshop live stream thing, which was awesome, and then they did the trailer, and then in the trailer, they teased that, hey, we're going to be at Inside Xbox to show gameplay. Now, that was a colossal failure. They didn't show gameplay. I mean, 2 seconds of gameplay isn't gameplay, in my opinion. And that obviously didn't work. That backfired. In fact, they actually had to publicly apologize and say, like, oh, we kind of misread the room, and we're sorry, and we're going to make it up to you. While that was bad, I think again, to keep your hopes up, if Sony were to do a reverse of that, that could be the best thing we could get, and maybe the only possible thing we could get. If they show, like, hey, we have something to show you, and it's maybe a teaser image or maybe a very, very short teaser trailer, and then, maybe later that day, we hear that Warner Bros. Is going to do an event like the following week, maybe something like that. Again, I don't really think it's likely. My answer to this would generally be no. I really don't think the Batman game is going to be at the PlayStation event. Again, if you want to kind of build just a way of getting it there, I think I've done that. I think I've built a couple different ways that it could get there. Again, though, all pretty unlikely. But I guess final thing is this is it. Like, this is the week that we're going to get PS5 games. Next week is EA Play Live. Next week is the Cyberpunk show and stuff like that. So literally we're in it. We are in this stretch now where we're going to get announcements very fast and very furiously. And so I think it's honestly only a matter of time before Warner Bros. Announces it. Whether it's later in the summer or not, I think we eventually, like I've said, we will get an announcement. We will get something. We will get talks of something very, very soon. So I think it's only a matter of time. We've done a really good job of being patient and waiting, and we will get, I do want to stress that, we will get rewarded. Yes, it may have gotten pushed out of June and maybe into July or August, but it's still right there. Unless you guys are going somewhere over the summer where you're never coming back to the internet, you will end up seeing this game, okay? So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think there's a possibility? Even if it's unlikely, how do you think it could possibly be at Sony's event? Let me know. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel podcast. Now, hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And that, I really do stress that. I have stressed that in the past, over the past couple weeks, because we're going to have lots of videos. I make 3 videos a day on this channel, max, okay, that goes up. But over the next couple weeks, with all these announcements, all these things happening, there could very well be more than 3 videos a day. So you're not going to get notified for all of them, but you will for most of them. So again, make sure that bell is hit so you guys know when the videos go up. And then make sure you're just constantly checking back on the channel, because if something big happens, whether it be Batman or something else, there could very well be 4 or 5 videos in a day, and you will not get notified for all those because YouTube's dumb, okay? So thank you guys very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. We'll talk again very, very soon. I don't think I'll make another video before the PlayStation event, but right after it, we'll be talking about it. So if it is there, I'll absolutely cover it, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.